everybody, welcome back to another video. Oh my god, you guys can see my pump in the background. Like, you guys see it? Don't mind that thing back there. But anyways, as you guys can tell by the title, I'm speaking kind of low because my son is asleep and I don't want to wake him. He's down for his nap. But I hope you guys can hear me. But anyways, as you guys can tell by the title, this is a birth story, my birth story of my son. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys want to know how he got into this world, stay tuned and find out. Okay, you guys, welcome back. So where do I start? Okay, so anyway, my son was born August 17, 2018, but his due date was August 14, 2018. So on my due date, I'm like winking, like anyway. On my due date, I went in for my NST. They scheduled me for NSTs every week, starting at 37 weeks. Yeah, 37 weeks, just due to the complications that I had with my daughter. And so I went in for my NST. He still wasn't in there. He was still cooking in the belly. So they scheduled me for induction. When I went in for my NST, my blood pressure was slightly elevated, but it wasn't any concern. So they went ahead and scheduled my induction. I was supposed to be induced, I think, at the end of that week. So around the 20th or something like that. So I went home, and that was the 14th. So on the 15th, everything was fine. I was nesting like heavily. I was having Braxton Hicks, pains and discomfort, but nothing like where I was like, okay, it's time, you know? Okay, so on August 16, 2018, I was at the house. Like I said, I was nesting like crazy, and I started to feel funny. Like I didn't have the energy like I normally did throughout the day. And I mean, imagine, having energy when you're pregnant. And I was big when I was pregnant. I just didn't have the energy at all. And so I was just like feeling like weird. Like I've never felt like that before. So I said, you know what, let me go ahead, and when I pick my daughter up from daycare, I'll go ahead and I'll go check my blood pressure. So I went ahead and I went to go check my blood pressure. Come to find out, my blood pressure was elevated. It was like 120 over 90. It wasn't, or 130 over 90. It wasn't like significantly high, but that bottom number was pretty high. So I went ahead and they told me, I advise you to go ahead and go to the hospital and get your blood pressure checked and see a doctor. So, because I went to like the pharmacy and just got my blood pressure checked. So I said, okay. So I dropped my daughter off to my mom's house, and because I was driving my husband's car, and I had my keys to my car, my husband couldn't meet me. So I had to go ahead and go pick my husband up, and we drove straight to the hospital. They put me in triage, and they took my blood pressure at that point, and it was still pretty much elevated. I think it went up a little bit to like 138 over 92, something in that range. And so they were like, okay, we're gonna wait for the doctor to come in. When the doctor comes in, they'll let you know what's going on. So we're like, okay. So we waited. Doctor came in, and because it's a triage room, if you guys aren't familiar with what triage room looks like, it's a big, huge open room with like beds and then curtains, so you can hear everything that goes on in there. So the doctor came in, and I'm laying in the bed, and the nurse is over there talking to the doctor, and I can hear everything that was being said. And she was like, well, we're just gonna go ahead and admit her since she's past due anyway, and just go ahead and let her have the baby. So I was like, oh my god, we're gonna have a baby. And so we notified all our family members and friends and things like that. And they went ahead and admitted me. So because my blood pressure was elevated, they wanted to watch me just to make sure that I didn't need to be on magnesium. Um, so I went ahead and they took me and admitted me. I did not have to be on magnesium. They started Pitocin. I was so nervous. They started Pitocin, and I was already having small contractions already, but I didn't really feel them. So um, because I was already so far dilated, I want to say when she checked me in triage, I want to say she said I was like 3 centimeters, 3.5 centimeters, something like that. So they were like, we don't need to ripen your cervix or anything like that, because I was like, I want to say I was like 90%. I was, no, I was starting to open, but I wasn't, I was thinned out though. But I don't remember. I think I want to say it was 90% effaced. It was like, no, I was 50% effaced and 3 centimeters dilated. Yes, I remember. So they were like, we don't need anything to ripen your cervix. We'll go ahead and just give you, start you on Pitocin. So I was like, okay. So that was around 10 o'clock. And that's when labor started. It took a while. I want to say it took about maybe 2 to 3 hours for me to start getting those really good contractions. So I was just contracting. While I was contracting, my blood pressure was normal, no issues or anything like that. My son's heart rate did drop. It dropped significantly, and so that they were like really, really concerned. So they pulled back on the Pitocin, and then he just did fine. I think the nurse said it was maybe but too much stress, too fast, because she had just upped my Pitocin. So after that, he was doing fine. I slept a lot through my labor. In the beginning, before my water broke, as a teenager, I had really bad cramps, so those those didn't really phase me too much. I breathed through them all. I even slept through some of them, most of them actually. I actually got to sleep. And then it was change of shift time, so it was like around 6:30. Mind you, they started me on Pitocin around 10, around 6:30. The nurse came in. She introduced around that time. She came in. She introduced herself, things like that. And so I told her, I said, well, I have to go to the bathroom. So I went up, got up, went to the bathroom. While I was in the bathroom, my water broke. So after I used the restroom and I peed, I was like, hold on, because she was like, okay, you got to come back. And I was like, hold on, something's not right. And I was like, my water just broke. So she was like, okay. So as soon as I walked out of the bathroom, I like washed up, cleaned up, and things like that. I'm telling you, as soon as I walked out of the bathroom, my contractions went from like a 3 to like a 10. I was like, oh my God, I need the epidural like tomorrow. I mean, like yesterday, not tomorrow. I need the epidural like yesterday. So she told me that she was gonna find the lady to bring me the epidural. Originally, my plan was not to have any medical interaction, and I didn't. The only thing I had medical was the Pitocin. Medicine was the Pitocin. So yeah, so she went ahead and she was like, okay, we'll bring her in and everything like that. So I was like, okay. So I'm breathing through my contractions and I'm rocking, and they actually put in the little monitor, because I wouldn't stay still. They put in the little monitor on his head so to track his heart rate, because I just wouldn't stay I wouldn't stay in the bed to have the belly monitor on me. So I was able to rock back and forth and stand up and walk around. And let me tell you guys, that was pretty painful. I think it made me have a contraction, and she was doing it while I was having a contraction. Just thinking about it like brings me back. So that happened, and then she finally came. The lady for the epidural came in. It was maybe about an hour. So I want to say like my water broke maybe like, let's say it broke around 7. Yeah, it broke around 7. And when they checked me, I was at 6 centimeters. So, and then she had me sit up at the edge of the bed. If you guys haven't ever had an epidural, they make you sit up at the edge of the bed and they have you hunch over like this and relax your back, and you just kind of like, but you have to have your back straight, your spine needs to be straight, and so you're hunched over like this. So I did that, and she as she started to do the epidural, she couldn't get into my spaces of my back, maybe because I wasn't hunched over so far, because my belly was humongous. So I couldn't lean over. I had the epidural with my daughter, and she was a lot smaller. She was a smaller baby, so I was able to lean over. But the epidural didn't even last with that. But that's a whole nother story. So anyway, she couldn't get in between my spaces, and I was contracting. And if you guys don't know, when you have an epidural and you cannot move at all, like at all. So my contractions kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and I'm still sitting on this bed as she's taking her needle and she's putting it in my back and pulling it out of my back, putting it in my back, pulling it out of my back. And she's trying to find my spaces, and she goes, let me know if you feel anything. So she puts it in, and I go, I feel that. So she pulled it out. She goes, let me feel if you feel anything. She puts it in, and I was like, I feel that. She pulled it out. She's like, I just can't get into your spaces. I can't get into the spaces in your back. So she tries, I want to say it was about an hour to an hour and a half. No, I want to say it was about an hour. And I am not lying to you guys. I promise you, it was about an hour. My husband said that as time went on, she got more and more frustrated because I kept asking her, like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? My contractions were getting so bad, and the only thing that I could do was stay hunched over, not move. And my contractions are coming. I want to sit up and I want to rock back and forth, but I can't do that. So she's putting it in my back, pulling it out my back. So it got to a point where I told her, never mind, I don't even want it. But they were like, no, we can do it. So she has somebody else come in, another guy come in, and he's doing the same thing. Putting it in my back, pulling it out. Pulling it in my back, pulling it out. No lie, you guys, I promise you. 2 hours pass, and I'm still sitting over the edge of the bed, and I tell her, my contractions are getting worse, and I feel like I need to push. She was like, the guy asked my nurse, well, what baby number is this? And she says, this is number 2. So my mom's telling me, don't push. The people in the room is just my mom and my husband. And she's like, don't push. And I'm like, I'm not pushing. My body is pushing the baby out. Like, I need to push. So my mom's like, no, don't push. So I tell the nurse, I need to push. It seems like when you're in labor and everything is about, this is about you, and nobody wants to listen to you sometimes. So I'm yelling, I need to push. So the nurse is like, okay, roll her on her back. The guy asks, like, well, where was she at? And she's like, she's only at 6 centimeters. And they rolled me on my back, and she checks me, and she's like, you're at a 9.5. She said, don't push because you still have a little bit of cervix left there. She turned around to get something, and she came back, and she's like, honey, you're at a 10. So if you want to push, you can push. I said, yes, I want to push. So I lay down on the bed, and I grabbed onto the bars, and they put my feet in the stirrups, and I said, can I push? They said, yes. And I bared down, and I pushed. And then she said, okay, stop. And I felt another contraction, felt like I needed to push. I said, can I push? She said, yeah, bear down. And she's like, don't push no more. The doctor's not here. If you give another push, the baby will be here. So I waited, and I'm like, this doctor needs to hurry up and come because you guys will be delivering a baby. So she hurried up, and she rushed in there, and she said, all right, if you're ready, let's go. Let me take one little part back. When my water broke, I saw black in my water, and I felt like the baby had meconium. She tested my water when it broke on the floor with the pH strip, and she said I did have meconium. So now to fast forward. When she told me I could push, I had so many nurses, NICU nurses, everybody in the room because the baby had meconium. So I went ahead and I bared down. I gave 3 pushes. 1, 2, 3 good pushes, and he was here like that. My daughter, I pushed for, I think I pushed for almost 2 hours. An hour to 2 hours. I pushed for a long time. But with him, he was 3 pushes and he was out. And it was so amazing, guys. It was so amazing. They laid him on my chest, but he didn't cry. And they were rubbing him. It was like the longest wait ever. And I said, is he okay? They're rubbing him, patting his butt, rubbing him, and rubbing him really hard. And all of a sudden he gave his cry. He still cries like that to this day. And I said, oh my gosh, he's so handsome. So they took him over. They're like, he's a big baby. Took him over and cleaned him off and everything like that. The guy was standing there. Don't forget, I was supposed to be getting an epidural. He gave me a spinal. I forgot to say that. He gave me a spinal right before they laid me on my back. He's standing there as I'm like waiting for the doctor to come in to push. He goes, oh, can you feel your legs? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what is going on? He's like, that's so strange. After I pushed my son out, my legs went numb. So yeah, pretty much that's what happened. So after that, they checked me. I didn't have any tears. I didn't have an episiotomy, nothing. He came out perfect. And the only thing that they did was I hemorrhaged with my daughter, so they just took really big precautions and made sure that I wouldn't hemorrhage with him. So they just gave me some medication to stop the bleeding right away so that I wouldn't hemorrhage if that was the case. And then, yeah, he was here. He was born August 17th, 2018 at 9:28. He was 9 pounds and 12 ounces, and I will insert a picture. So yeah, and as far as my high blood pressure, as soon as he was delivered, it went away, and it went back to normal. When they let me go, it was slightly elevated, but it wasn't nothing for them to worry about. And I'm gonna do a whole nother video on why I had to go back to the hospital, and it has to do with my high blood pressure. But so yeah, we stayed in the hospital overnight. He was delivered on the 17th, and we went home on the 18th. And yeah, it was amazing. It was so amazing. It was everything that I could ask for. I have my son now, and he's thriving. He's gonna be 5 months on the 17th of January of this month. He's rolling over, he's cooing, talking, he loves to blow raspberries, he's on the move constantly. He didn't learn how to, so he's crawling, but he's not crawling. He's crawling, but he's not on his knees crawling. He's doing that rock, and then he jumps like a frog. So, but he's amazing. He's so amazing. Yeah, and that was my birth story. It's nothing long, pretty simple, pretty short, but everything I could ask for. So I hope you guys enjoyed my story. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to all the moms out there. So basically, all in all, I did it natural without wanting to. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, so your notification will go off and let you guys know when I post another video. I hope you guys enjoy your New Year so far. Don't forget to like and share this video with all your friends and family, especially any new moms out there having any questions. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.